We always hit the nail on the head. So check this out, my Miami Hurricane fans, my Florida State Seminole fans, and my Florida Gator fans, man. Welcome to Big 3 T2Y Sunday Breakdown. Sunday Breakdown. As you guys know, we do this every Sunday. Every Sunday. We don't just cover Miami, Florida State, and Florida. All right, so obviously the games got played. Florida State finally got 2 wins. Man, that's tough. Miami is 10-0. I'm sorry, 10-1. Got a little carried away. 10-1. Nice win, blowout win, of course. Last home game, sent off the seniors with a good, nice home game win. You know how it is, man. When you win 10 games, that's tough. Miami's first 10-win season since 2017. So congratulations to Mario Cristobal, Cam Ward, and the whole team and the whole coaching staff. We're proud of y'all. Let's continue this success. Let's make sure that this season ain't the only season. You feel me? Let's build off of it. Let's keep competing for championships. You don't want to win 10 and then win 2. You don't want to win 10 and then win 2. I'm going to just say that. But, man, as you guys know, every week so far since the college football playoff rankings been dropping, ESPN has made it upon themselves to do projections before the rankings come out. As you guys know, the rankings come out every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at what ESPN is projecting it to be. As you guys know, going into yesterday, Miami was the number 8 team in the country, which will change. A lot of teams played yesterday. Some crazy stuff happened. Not too crazy, but still kind of crazy in my book. A lot of you fans was talking trash yesterday. I did broadcast the Florida State versus Charleston Southern game on the channel. I want to apologize to some of you guys that do tune in to that. It was a little chippy choppy, whatever. Obviously, my computer right now is out of date. So I need to start doing some kind of donation or something so I could get a new computer so I could give you guys better quality. Obviously, like I said yesterday, I broadcast the Florida State game, and some of it, when I looked at some of it on my phone or from other devices, it was kind of choppy, kind of loggy a little bit. So I do want to apologize to you guys for that, but I do need to update my computer. Ever since I've been doing this YouTube thing, I've had this computer. This computer is, I think it's like a 2018. Yeah, so it definitely need to be updated right now. It can't keep up with all the, the process. The processor is old, basically, what I'm saying. So I do need to start, I guess, ask you guys to pitch in. The Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. So you guys could help pitch in. We could get this computer better. And when I do live stream regular games that's being broadcast on ESPN Plus, like Florida State yesterday, they was on ESPN Plus and ACC Extra, whatever that is. When your team's so terrible and you only got 2 wins on the season, that's what you end up on. You end up on ACC. You end up on ACC Extra. So I was able to broadcast the Florida State game yesterday to you guys with no problems, no copyrighted issues. But as you guys know, after those games finish, we don't keep it on the channel. We delete those. We don't want to keep copyrighted material on the channel. Obviously, it'll cause some issues. So yesterday, man, we're going to talk about the big 3. Terrence in the building. Terrence, what's good, my guy? Canes Forever, what's good with you? Panama Jack, what's good with you? Johnny in the building, what's good with you? Island Boy, what's good with you? Let me run through this list, get this roll call going. Make sure I didn't miss nobody. All right. Oh, and Henry, what's good with you, my guy? All right, so ESPN, they brought it up on themselves to basically do the projecting the college football top 25 for after week 13. So yesterday the games got played. Alabama got whooped, y'all. Alabama got whooped. Now, all week, I've been listening to all this SEC talk. Oh, the SEC is so great. The SEC got all these teams with 10 wins. The SEC going to have all these teams with only 2 losses. They can all get into the playoffs. They better than everybody. And everybody. Drip in the building. I see you, Drip. Shout out to them Gators. Great win for the Gators yesterday. Another week, another upset. Hey, congratulations. The Gators are just making Miami's week 1 win look so much better now. That's tough. That's tough. The Gators are making Miami's week 1 win so much better now. And you know what? Congratulations to Florida State, too. You finally did in week 11 what Miami did in week 1. We dropped 41 on them Gators. We dropped 41 on them Gators, on them baby lizards. 85 Gator Nuggets. Week 1, 41 points. Florida State in week 11 finally scored 41 points. Congratulations to Florida State for finally getting over the 21-point hump. As you guys know, week 1, they scored 21 points against Georgia Tech, and they haven't scored anything past that for the rest of the season. They was averaging 13.3 points a game until yesterday. I don't know what the average is now. I haven't done any math. I haven't even looked it up because it's really irrelevant at this point. Last game of the season, guys. And, of course, outside of Miami versus Syracuse, that's going to be the main focus this week. Obviously, this is Big 3. 2 of the Big 3 going to play each other. It's rivalry week. It's rivalry week. You got Florida State versus Florida. Now, for Florida, this game doesn't have the impact that I thought it would. Honestly, I thought the Ole Miss Rebels, or whatever you want to call them, Sharks, or whatever other nickname they made up for themselves, I obviously thought Ole Miss was going to beat Florida. The whole world thought it. Even the whole ESPN, everybody, all of them, everybody picked Ole Miss to win that game. Everybody picked Ole Miss to go into the swamp, beat the Gators, and get out of there with a dub. Not so fast, my friend. Lee Corso style. The Gators got it done. So you got to give credit where it's due. Now, I'm a huge Gator hater. I'm a huge baby lizard hater. But you got to give credit where it's due. And it just make Miami look even better. Miami went into the SEC. Gators stomped the Gators. I mean, literally cut their whole tail off, grilled that thing, fed it to them. That's tough. We went in there, we planted flags. We went in there, we were talking to their recruits. They even had Katie up in that bed with her armor on. She was trying to make sure we don't talk to them recruits. They even blocked Miami guys that committed to Miami that they was recruiting. They even stopped them from coming to the game. That's the impact we had on the Gators. We went into the swamp and made that bit like a library. It was like a library. It was so quiet in there. It was quiet. As a matter of fact, every fourth quarter is a tradition for the Florida Gator fans to sing that Tom Petty won't back down. Fourth quarter, it was only the Miami Hurricane fans in there. The stadium was orange and green. The stadium was orange and green in the fourth quarter. Everybody was in there. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. That was all Miami fans singing the song. All the Gators had evaporated. They had evaporated. They went right back to whatever cloud they was in. That's what we did. But apparently, the SEC is so strong and the SEC is so good. Shout out to all you guys in here. We got 41 people watching. I just wanted to make sure I emphasize that we got 41 people watching because that's what Miami dropped on them Gators in week 1. That's tough. Now, all these SEC teams just beating up on each other. Alabama. Whoo, that was a surprise. I thought Alabama was just going to go in there and get the win, and it was going to be as written. Alabama for the win. Oklahoma said, not so fast, my friend. Lee Corso style. You ain't finna come up in here and do nothing. As a matter of fact, you only leave in here with 3 points. 3 goddamn points. Alabama only put up 3 points. But this is the SEC that we supposed to be scared of. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I was telling people before that game even started, while the Miami game was playing, while the Florida State game was playing, while the Gator game was playing, I was telling y'all, man, we ain't scared of that Bama jump. Line it up right now. Line it up. And look at him. Couldn't even put up more than 3 points against a freaking Oklahoma team that's been taking beatings all year. I've listened to Alabama and Georgia fans cry about their first playoff rankings. I remember when Miami only dropped from number 4 to number 9, they was all crying. How you gonna put Miami over Alabama? How you gonna put them over Georgia? Da 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 da. The SEC. We are the SEC. A whole bunch of SEC nut huggers. Whole bunch of SEC nut huggers. SEC this, SEC that. That SEC shit is mid. SEC mid. All that shit mid. From Georgia to Alabama to Texas, all that shit mid. Texas, they talk about Miami ain't played nobody. They talk about our schedule. Texas ain't played nobody. Texas ain't played no goddamn body. Look at Texas A&M. They control their destiny. Not no goddamn Mo. Not no Mo. They just lost to a terrible ass Auburn team. But this is the SEC team that y'all are telling me we should be scared of. You know what? Rhett Lashley was right about you fools. Rhett Lashley was right about you fools. A bunch of SEC teams beat up on each other. Oh, man, they so good. That's what happened when you play in the SEC. A bunch of ACC teams or a bunch of other teams beat up on each other. Oh, nah, they ain't no good, man. Those conferences are terrible. But look at the SEC every goddamn week. Look at Alabama. Look at Alabama. First round exit from the playoffs right now. The playoffs started yesterday for Alabama. They already out. Ole Miss. The playoffs started for them yesterday. They already out. Pack your bags and get the hell out of my building. That's what the playoff committee better say to Alabama, better say to Ole Miss, and all them other teams, Tennessee all on. Pack your bags and get the hell away from my playoff gates, because none of y'all don't belong in here. All this SEC talk. I've been listening to this junk. Paul Feinbaum, Miami shouldn't be ranked in front of Georgia. Miami shouldn't be ranked in front of Alabama. Look at Alabama now. Shout out to my boy Kangaroo Black. I didn't get to watch none of his video. Obviously, I took me a nice, beautiful sleep last night because I know my team won. And I woke up to some surprises. But I want to see what Kangaroo Black had to say about them Alabama Crimson Tide. It's all about the Tide. Roll Tide. Yeah, I want to see all of this. I see my boy Sarge in the building. Obviously, Georgia struggled with UMass yesterday, and then they pulled away in the second half like they always do. But UMass was giving Georgia hell. That SEC, that SEC is P-U-S-S-Y. That's tough. But I'm going to put the link in the chat. Obviously, some of y'all probably want to come in and join in on the conversation. As you guys know, these are open mic conversations. So you guys can come on in and join in on the conversation. The link is in the chat. For those of y'all that's watching on YouTube. Now, if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Get in the comment section. Click the link. If you want to come on the show, you want to come talk, you're welcome. You're welcome. I don't care if you're a Florida Gator fan. I don't care if you're a Florida State Seminole fan, Miami fan, or any college football fan in general. The link is in the chat. Click it. Let's talk. So, as you guys can see on the screen right now, I got ESPN pulled up, ESPN Plus. I do got an account with them. So these exclusive articles that some of you guys might not have access to, I got it. So I got y'all. Do me a huge favor, though. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And share the channel, man. Share the channel. Appreciate y'all. Now, here we go. So let's get straight into it, man. Obviously, they're going to make predictions, where the team's going to be ranked after what you seen yesterday, Indiana getting exposed. That Cinderella story is over. I try to tell y'all, Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten. Remember I told you this a week and a half ago. Remember I told you guys that Ohio State going to end up winning that Big Ten. I know Oregon already beat them by a point this season. I don't think Oregon's going to win the rematch. I could be wrong, though, and I'm sure if I'm wrong, y'all will come tell me. But, yeah, I got Ohio State winning the Big Ten. And I hate Ohio State, so that just goes to show there's no bias in this. But they're projecting, of course, Oregon didn't play nobody yesterday. Oregon had a bye week, so they're going to stay where they are. They're 11-0. Good for Dan Lennon and them Ducks, but they'll stay at number one. Ohio State improved to 10-1 after beating Indiana. Their Cinderella story is over. Now they're going to have a controversy of whether Indiana deserved to be in the playoffs after playing one of the worst schedules in the country all year. And now they took a loss when they finally played somebody. And not only did they lose, they got blown out, straight decapitated. Straight decapitated. Ohio State took the top off the boys yesterday. Pause. No diddy. But took the cap off of them. Beat the brakes off of them. Man, that thing wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. Indiana jumped out and scored a touchdown and forgot what it felt like to score the touchdown for the rest of the game, basically. That's tough. Texas improved to 10-1 yesterday. They won. They beat Kentucky. Nothing to see there, really. Kentucky ain't really nobody. Even the Florida Gator blew out Kentucky, so nothing to see there. Georgia kind of struggled with Kentucky, though. They only beat them by a point. But that's what Georgia do all season. They struggle with teams nowadays. I got this rivalry coming up. I got Georgia Tech knocking off, Georgia. So we're gonna see if that work out. We're gonna see. I got Georgia Tech for the win against Georgia. I got them for the upset. Georgia is just a bubble waiting to be popped. That's tough. They're predicting that Penn State will remain at number 4, which to me that's a little controversial. Penn State struggle win yesterday against Minnesota kind of got me up in the air. They won that game by a point, so 26-25. Man, that's I don't know. Penn State, you might drop. I think Miami 10-1 is better than Penn State 10-1 at this point. But hey, that's just me. Now, a lot of y'all had hopes for Army. They got defeated. Plain and simple. Tanks, planes, aircrafts, all kind of stuff flew through that Army and straight destroyed them. I'm sorry, America. Our Army let us down yesterday. Notre Dame won. That's tough. Notre Dame won, man. They beat Army. The Cinderella story for Army is still there. They're predicting Notre Dame to move up to number 5. Obviously, Indiana lost, so Army took a beating by Notre Dame, so Notre Dame to move up to number 5. Let's keep it moving. They got the Miami Hurricanes, the mighty Miami Hurricanes. The mighty Miami Hurricanes at number 6. Blew out Wake Forest yesterday. They're one game away from playing for the ACC championship. Obviously, a lot of you guys are saying it's a trap game coming up against Syracuse. But Miami will go to Syracuse to take on them orange guys or whatever you want to call them. Miami will go to Syracuse. So, last game of the season, 11-1 or 10-2, basically. That's what it is. ACC championship is at stake for the Hurricanes. Yesterday, Hurricanes defense played pretty well. Only gave up 14 points to a terrible Wake Forest team. Defense only gave up 7. Obviously, the other 7 came from a run. A special team, ran it back on us. Man, that's tough. Now, I did see that play, and I can make the excuse that there was a lot of holding on that return, but nonetheless, it still happened. But second half, Miami took the lead all the way up to like what? What we beat them by? 28? 20? Yeah, we did our thing, man. It was nothing, man. The number 1 offense in the country for a reason. We did our thing. Surprisingly, the defense did its thing, surprisingly. And I do say surprisingly because if you're a Miami Hurricane fan and you've been watching all year, you already know. I don't even got to go into it. You guys already know. Great win. Syracuse is next. Miami wins that game. They'll take on SMU. They'll take on SMU. Miami the second, basically. A bunch of transfers from Miami is over there. That's what they're using right now. So after Miami beats Syracuse, when they beat Syracuse, they'll take on SMU for the ACC championship. Now, SMU did play yesterday, and they did blow out their opponent in Virginia. So congratulations to SMU. I do believe SMU might move up in this rankings. They might actually be in the top 10, if not just right outside of it. Obviously, a lot of things happened yesterday, so a lot of teams lost. Ole Miss, for example, Florida upset Ole Miss. They was at number 9, so a lot of things gonna change, man. Let's keep it moving. Right beneath the Miami Hurricane, and I do mean beneath the Miami Hurricane, because right now Georgia is beneath us. We better than Georgia. We want Georgia. We want Georgia. We'll beat Georgia. Line that thing up. We'll beat Georgia right now. Line it up. Sarge, I know you in the chat. Line it up. Line it up. All we're going to do is whoop Georgia ass. That's it. That's it. That's tough. We just watch the Florida Gators beat Ole Miss, who beat Florida. I told you guys, man, if DJ Lagway played that whole game against Georgia, Florida would have beat Georgia. Florida would have beaten Georgia. I stand on that. I stand on that. But, hey, if, could, should, would, it is what it is. Georgia got the win. But they didn't play nobody yesterday. They played a UMass. Sorry, UMass. Upcoming now, they'll have, what's the name? Georgia Tech. I'm taking Georgia Tech for the upset. Georgia Tech will beat Georgia. Yeah, but Georgia's at number 7 right now. Obviously, occupying the number 7 spot last week was the Alabama Crimson Tide. Boy, I'm telling you, sorry is all out those. Sorry is all out those. No Tide was rolling yesterday. Not one goddamn Tide was rolling. That's tough. Panama Jack says UGA struggled against UMass for a minute. Yeah, they did. Florida State struggled against Florida State struggled against Charleston Southern for a minute too now. So let's not talk. Let's not talk. So I'm just going on with you. Sarge, you there? I don't know if you're speaking, but I can't hear. I can't hear you. All right. So, yes. Okay. Let me see if he can on now. Sarge, you there? Yeah, he just popped in and popped off. All right. So, obviously, let's keep it moving. Tennessee, they moved Tennessee up to number 8. Now, obviously, you see Georgia's in the top, you see Tennessee, and you see Texas. That's 3 SEC teams. That's 3. So we're gonna keep it going. Tennessee, this week, who did Tennessee play this week? Who did they play? UTEP. UTEP. They beat them 56-0. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. You know the SEC does this almost every year. There's a handful of those teams that think they're gonna make it somewhere into the playoffs, or they feel like they're going to be, high atop the postseason, bowl games and all that other stuff. So they end up, putting a cupcake team in week 11, kind of to make sure that they don't slip off and lose at the last minute, and then, you drop too far. That's what the SEC do. That's what Florida State try to do. They try to model after the SEC, and obviously this season it didn't work out for them. This season it did not work out for them. Charleston Southern, congratulations, Florida State. You finally got 2 wins on the season. You've been waiting all year for that. That's tough. All right, well, let's see. All right, you there, Sarge?
Mic check, mic check.
All right, there we go. Georgia, man, Georgia. You see the projected rankings, right?
Yeah, I'm not worried about all that. As long as we win the SEC championship, we already done locked in our bid to Atlanta. So we're going to Atlanta.
SEC championship?
Yeah, we going, bro.
Oh, y'all already locked in?
We already locked in.
Bro, this conference is so sorry that anybody can get in. That's tough.
Well, don't nobody want to play in it. Everybody want to get in the playoffs, but they don't want to win the conference. That's the funny thing. They want to be in the playoffs, but they don't want to win the You can ask Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin been talking to a bunch of SEC coaches. These guys, they want their team to get in the playoffs, but they scared to go to the SEC championship. Why? Because they got 2 losses.
You know what that sounds like to me? Pussy.
Hey, it's all good, man. I mean, we'll win the SEC championship, and then we'll take that first week bye. You know what I'm saying? You get a bye once you win your conference championship, so we'll get that bye.
I know. Get that bye week, go ahead and rest up. wait for them other teams to knock each other off and come into the game a little bit more depleted. Because that's what really gonna happen. You're
Yeah.
gonna have the 4 teams that make the playoffs by winning the conference, the four at
Yep.
large.
Yep.
Some gonna play each other, knock each other off, and then come into that next week with a well rested,
Yep.
Miami, whether it's Georgia, whether it's whoever else.
Yep.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
And
tough.
you get to watch film. You get to watch film of the two teams. You know what I'm saying? You got to buy, and then two other teams got to play, and the winner of those two other teams got to play you. So guess what? You get a week to break down all their film and to watch them play.
Now, I gotta ask you this. This is just a projection. Obviously, it's not the regular rankings yet. That'll come out on Tuesday night. But ESPN is already projecting Miami 6 and Georgia 7. How does it feel to be beneath us?
Beneath y'all,
Y'all are beneath us right now. We 6, y'all 7. That's what it says.
y'all lost to Georgia Tech, right?
Y'all lost 2 games.
Y'all lost to Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah, y'all lost 2 games. And I got Georgia Tech beating y'all this week.
We don't care what you got. You got Georgia losing every weekend. You said Auburn was going to upset us, but anyway,
speaking of Auburn, I know you see that Auburn whooping last night.
Yeah. We about to beat the team that ran. Didn't they run for 106 yards?
Who?
Tech.
I got
Hey,
Tech.
can somebody in the chat?
I got Tech getting 2 interceptions in that game.
Okay, can somebody in the chat look up how many rushing yards that they have against Miami? I know it's like 250, 265, something like that.
I need somebody to look up how did Georgia Tech lose to Oklahoma. Look that up.
No, look, Alabama. You mean Alabama?
No, I mean Georgia, because Oklahoma beats Alabama. So they have them little scenarios where they say so Georgia would have lost to Oklahoma.
I know Tennessee beat Alabama and we beat Tennessee. Tennessee beat Oklahoma and we beat Tennessee.
I believe if y'all line up against Alabama again right now, they'll beat y'all again.
I know, man.
They'll beat y'all again.
Ain't nobody worried about the Gumps no more. They got 3 losses. The Gumps, Ole Miss, they got 3 losses. They done. Man. See ya.
Lining up Miami versus Georgia right now. I got Miami by 2 touchdowns.
You saying T2Y lost?
Oh, top 10 breakthrough. Top 10 breakthrough. SMU, the Mustangs. SMU finally getting some respect from ESPN.
But T2Y, why you worried about us when you should be worried about Syracuse?
Man, I ain't worried about no Syracuse. We're gonna beat the brakes off Syracuse. We're gonna beat the brakes off.
The brakes off Syracuse.
We're gonna beat the brakes off them boys.
Hey! Somebody in the chat.
We ain't scared of that fake orange.
Somebody in the chat, make sure y'all let Syracuse know that Miami said they're gonna beat the brakes off of them.
We finna knock the dome off them boys.
Oh, y'all gotta go up there too?
It's gonna be snowing in that bit when we done.
Oh, y'all gotta go up to New York?
Man, we ain't worrying about that.
Y'all gotta go up to the dome. Oh my
God. The brakes off them boys. We finna knock them brakes off them boys.
Didn't y'all just struggle with Wake Forest, T2Y?
Struggle? You mean 42-14?
You said we struggled with UMass.
Y'all did.
Y'all didn't struggle with Wake Forest?
Last time I looked at the score, it was 21-20. It was 21-31. I was like, damn.
Last time I looked at the store, it was 20-14.
Damn, that's tough.
Well, y'all play Wake Forest.
Yeah. They 14. One was off a run back.
Okay, it's all 3 faces, right?
But you got to look at it. This is Wake Forest. This is a Power 4 team. Y'all losing.
Oh, okay. It's a Power 4 team.
UMass.
Oh, okay, I got you.
He-mass, she-mass, he-mass. Y'all losing to UMass.
Hey, them Demon Deacons was deacon y'all.
At one point, I looked at the score. Y'all were down over 7-0. I was like,
at one point, I looked at the score. Y'all was down 14-7.
We was never down 14-7.
Y'all was never down 14. Or was it 14-14?
We never trailed in that game.
It was 14-14. What was the score in the first quarter?
I'll pull it up for you right now. You know what? We'll pull it up. We was never down in that game. We was never down. We never
Y'all
trailed.
was never down.
We
Y'all
went
never
out the
one
first
time.
drive when we scored with a touchdown with Jacoby George. They scored, then we scored right again. We were never down.
Okay, so at
And
one
then
point it
after
was
we,
7-7, right?
after we scored again, we made it 17-7. That's when they
Okay, but at one point it was 7, right?
that's the only time they ever was tied with us. So
Okay, I got you. I got you.
never trailed that game. But
I got you. I got you. Good.
SMU don't crack the top 10 at number 9. Ole Miss is up out of there at number 9. They ain't gonna be there no more. The Florida Gators, man, Georgia's rival. Don't pull another upset. Another week.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jackson Dart.
Another
Shout
week.
out to Jackson Dart looking like Carson Beck out there.
I need a belt, man. We need to put belt the ass on BB. After finally beating and getting these upset, BB want to come back and join us.
Nah, you know what?
BB, what's going on, my guy?
Good, bro.
Man,
BB, what's up? Man? Y'all celebrating? Y'all throwing a party down there?
They, they had a good time.
nah, BB,
I know.
you gotta be humble.
Stop trying to be humble.
Hey,
Nah.
BB, you got
It-
the echoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me take a look.
Yeah, man.
BB
But
trying to come in humble.
you gotta be humble, BB, man. Hey, y'all got 2 back-to-back quality wins. Y'all done knocked off 2 of the mid SEC teams that everybody told me we were supposed to be scared of. Hey, flex a little bit, man. Swap that gator tail at them. Don't come too close. You might get hit by a gator tail.
I just want to send a big shout out to Colorado, man. They won me $500 yesterday.
Man, I just want to give a big shout out to Lane Kiffin. And Florida fans, y'all still want Lane Kiffin? Y'all still want Lane?
Coach Prime. No, ask them if they want Coach Prime. Remember, they wanted Coach Prime for a while.
They wanted Lane train. I guess they back on the Billy bus. They back on the Billy bus. Man, that's tough. SMU comes in at number 9, replacing that garbage ass SEC team, Ole Miss. Jackson Dart, what up, my boy? Talking about some, you were throwing down there, you talking about what up, T2Y. Throw down there to you now. That's tough. Boise State at number 10. They're projecting Boise State to be at number 10. And look at Indiana. They predicting Indiana to stick around at number 11. So they might let Indiana up in the playoffs. Oh, my God. Them SEC nut huggers going to go crazy. They going to go crazy. If Indiana get up in that thing with 1 loss, Penn State with 1 loss, obviously Ohio State, if they end up losing to Oregon or the other way around, if Oregon end up losing to Ohio State, the Big Ten might get 4 teams in there. So the SEC might be mad. They get 4 and we only get 3. Now, obviously, after Alabama got blew out, they put them down at number 12. So Alabama still got a chance. Alabama still got a chance to get in with 3 losses.
They're going to lose to Auburn.
3 losses. This is a tragedy. This is tragedy.
Alabama's done. That's just a projection, T2Y. Alabama's done. The only team that might get in with 3 losses is the loser of a conference championship. So let's say Oregon plays Penn State, you know what I mean, for the Big Ten title. If Penn State loses the Big Ten championship, then they might get in with 3 losses. But if you don't make it to a conference championship and you have 3 losses, you're not getting in.
You know what? I'm gonna make a public statement. I'm gonna put my face on it. Hold on. Playoff committee. If y'all let Alabama in the playoff with 3 losses, all y'all need to be neutered. All of you need to be neutered. There it is. There it is. All right. So they projecting the rest of the rankings. Ole Miss to drop to 13. South Carolina at 14. Um, Texas A&M after losing, they still got them at number 15. Clemson stays at 16. Arizona State will move up to 17. BYU will drop their second game in a row. I told y'all, man. I had a feeling BYU was going to lose to Arizona State.
They trash, bro. They trash.
BYU drops another game. Tulane is at number 19. Colorado, disappointment. Back-to-back weeks, you got Kansas knocking off teams, man. Knocking off top 25 teams. Colorado, they projecting to drop down to number 20. I think they'll probably drop even more. But, hey, it is what it is. Iowa State, they're at 21. UNLV is at 22. Missouri is at 23. They're going to stay there. Illinois, they'll move up one, and they'll drop Army down to number 25. So that's what they got the projected. These are projections by ESPN what the rankings is going to be. But if they let Alabama up in the playoffs, man, rigged, trash. But you know what? I love to run into a Georgia. I love to run into an Alabama.
Hey, Island Boy said Q's gonna put them hands on y'all.
Man, they've been saying that. They've been
Shout
saying
out
that.
to Island Boy in the chat, man.
Hold on, let me put the link back in the chat again. I think BB wants it.
Okay, Mike Jeezy said Miami beating Syracuse guaranteed. Y'all worry about the ACC championship? Y'all not worried about Syracuse at all?
Man, I'm not worried about no Syracuse.
Hey, put a one in the chat if you ever drove a Honda Accord, because Syracuse they got Kyle McCord, man. He a Honda Accord.
I said Honda Accord. Now I ain't never owned one, but I did drove one. One of my friends had a Honda Accord. I drove the Honda Accord. Now I ain't never drove a Honda Accord with a loud muffler. Yeah, you in the Porter, Sarge. And that sound like you on Cybertron. Let me see. All right, so that's ESPN projections, man. Let's talk about the games though. Let's go into it. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. Obviously, you guys know, man. Miami took care of business. We're gonna talk about the big three first, and then we can get into the rest of them. But you guys already know, Miami versus Wake Forest. Last home game, senior day. Sending them boys off. A lot of seniors on this team. I think like 24 of them was honored yesterday. You know what? Since we got BB, I don't know how long I'm gonna have BB for. We're gonna talk about the Gators. So let me pull up the Gators game. So what did you see yesterday, BB?
Same thing. Just defense been playing well the last couple of games. Still bad play calling, but Lagway, bail them out.
Y'all ran some.
Now we do have Lagway number here. Lagway threw 10 for 17, 180, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Quarterback rating at 66.5. Lagway in these interceptions. Now I know he's a freshman, he's gonna make mistakes, but at some point something gotta give.
Yeah. I think that it'll be low next year. He just
some of the reads he made, some of the plays that he makes, some of those are phenomenal. But it'd be like the boneheaded mistakes cost him.
Yeah.
Even last game, he threw a couple that could have been picked, but the guys dropped it.
Right.
So he gotta clean it up.
Right.
Yeah, but that comes with experience.
I give it to Florida.
Mistakes he making.
I give it to Florida. Lagway is a win for Florida. That's a win. At that position, that's a win for Florida. Florida did a thing or two.
Y'all think he's gonna hit the portal?
Nah.
Nah, dude, nah, that way.
They're playing good right now. The recruits are gonna start coming in, and on top of that, Billy got a guarantee.
But Billy got to keep him there because you know these other teams gonna throw money at him.
That's the
I
thing
think
about it.
Billy will be fine because at the end of the day, Lagway want to play for Billy.
All right. It was never about money with Larry with Billy.
So the deal with them is now they're gonna get more top recruits coming in because they're getting these upset. A lot of guys gonna flip that was high on Florida. The ones that said they had to win, obviously you saw last week once they beat LSU, they started getting a lot more commits. This I think it's gonna continue for them. I think they class is gonna get a little bit better. Um,
Yeah.
as far as who's gonna stay, who's gonna go, that's a different story. They gotta hit the portal, probably get some pieces here and there. Yeah, but I think Florida will be fine next year. I don't think they'll be good enough to beat Miami, but they'll be all right.
You supposed to say that, but I agree with everything you saying.
Yeah, but Montrell Johnson, man, at 18 carries, 107 yards, a touchdown. Bach, who's been a pretty good running back for you guys as of lately. Yesterday he had 13 for 46. You know,
Yeah, we ran on them. That's a tough front seven around them, so we did well there.
and it seemed
I don't
like
worry about
the second half of the season, Badger has come alive for you guys too. Yeah, yesterday he had 5 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown.
it. Because now we can get him the ball.
And obviously Trey Wilson, you know, he's out for the season, and you guys had a couple injuries here and there on the offense and defensive side. So I think next year a healthy Gator team will be a competitor.
I do too. I agree with that. I think next year we continue to try to make the playoffs.
Now I'm pretty sure during the off season, Gator fans gonna be talking shit, and I'm gonna take everything I just said back.
Of course. You already know.
All right, so yeah, man. Defensive wise, I gotta say, you guys stepped it up yesterday.
Yeah, the defense. When we get defense like the last 6 games, they be playing at an elite level.
Jackson Dart, y'all got 2 interceptions off of him yesterday. One of them was dropped actually, you know, when they looked at the replay, but it could have been 3.
Could have been, yeah.
Well, but never mind. It would have been 2 because if they gave y'all that first one, then you know it would have been over.
Yeah, you're right.
So 2 interception. Austin Simmons, obviously they pointed him out on the sideline a lot. ESPN is messy as hell, man.
Why? Because, well, you know, Mojo said the other day in our Miami space that Austin Simmons was better
Oh,
than last.
I was listening to him and Q go at it.
All right.
I was listening. They talking about old Mister to come in there and do this. I need to go check Q's not Q, but I need to go check Mojo tweets. I need to go see what he talking about now. Cause he was talking he was fat mouthing before the game.
He was. He had a
Oh,
space yesterday morning.
I want to see if the tone doesn't shift.
Oh, nobody can't find him.
That's normally how it goes. That's normally how it goes. My boy Q say, how you people hate the coaches, but how you switch on the whole team? How you switch on? Yeah, that's quick.
That's crazy. You leave Miami to go to Ole Miss because you hate Mario, but Mario beat Florida, but Lane couldn't.
See, that's the problem I was having a lot of Florida fans too, because I'm like, how you want Lane? That was like in the beginning of the season, everybody want Lane to Florida. Lane even posted a little alligator in the water, and now y'all using that to troll him.
You know, it's not that people don't like Billy or we don't even want him. We just don't want him to call plays. That's the biggest part.
I know a lot of y'all fans don't want him. Q made that very clear day before yesterday. I don't want Billy. I still don't support Billy. I'll take anybody over him, basically. I want to see. I want to see if his tone changed too. I need to go check his tweets, even though he got me blocked.
Oh, he got for real.
He got me blocked because every time he put some nonsense during the week against Miami, I was in there trolling. And then after the game, after we don't beat y'all, I was unbearable. So yeah, man. Next week you guys got Florida State. Florida State.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Look at this score right on here. You guys beat them 24-17, which is crazy because I was trolling, but I really wasn't trolling. Because obviously, if Ole Miss had beat y'all would have needed one more game to be bowl eligible, and it would have been against Florida State, and it would have fit my narrative. I'd have been like, Florida State gonna beat Florida 24-17, which I put it out there. But now that y'all don't beat Ole Miss, even if y'all do lose to Florida State, y'all still bowl eligible, so it kind of defeats my narrative. But you know what? I'm gonna stand on it though. I got Florida State upsetting y'all 24-17. Obviously,
24 points.
I wouldn't put no money on it, but you know.
Whoa.
Now it'd be crazy if they beat y'all. That would be so damn crazy.
Yo, if it happens, we back on Billy Head.
This week, right now, they have nothing to play for, nothing to lose. They're gonna be on top. Obviously, y'all can lose now. Y'all can lose to be bowl eligible, but hey, if you lose the game, all the momentum that you're gonna build will be gone.
That's why you can't lose that game.
Win for y'all. Jackson Dart had a good day, minus the 2 interceptions. It was on 24 for 42, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns. But them 2 interceptions kind of, derailed everything.
Yeah, that's the only little problem we got. We got so many guys hurt in the secondary. We don't give up.
Yeah, but I knew Ole Miss was going to slip around and slip this game to y'all when they couldn't run the ball outside of Jackson Dart.
Right. Yeah, when you can't run, you just got to throw. That's when we just going to lock in passer. Passer's going to get to you. First, we weren't in the first half, but that second half was effective.
Mike Jesus said it's going to be 27-3 on Florida. Y'all finally get
I can't see how Florida State going to still no more than 10 points.
Look at Drip talking about how much I like them for. When I say clearly, I wouldn't put no money on it. I would not put no money on Florida State, man. You lost your mind. Now, if you go to Vegas, I'm pretty sure the Gators probably going to be plus 900 or something. I mean, Florida State going to be plus 900 or something. They're going to be a huge underdog. So if you want to really make some money, don't bet nobody. Go bet Vegas. Because if I bet you $100, all I'm gonna win is $100. If Florida State win, if it's plus 900 or something, I'm gonna win like $900 and something dollars. So I'd rather do it with Vegas than to bet with a regular person right now. Man, but Florida State, Florida State ain't beating Florida, man. I'm playing with y'all. But if they do, you will be hearing from me.
Yeah, you supposed to troll it. We better not lose that game. That was what we were talking about last night. If you lose, we back on the head. You can't lose the momentum you got.
Now, y'all win that game. I think y'all gonna be set up for the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about it. I was listening to Big Game James. Shout out to Big Game James, Florida State alum and former player. I was listening to his show, and they were talking about the Gator Bowl. So Florida might end up beating the Gator Bowl after they beat Florida State. So, I'll be waiting on an ACC opponent. More than likely, you'll be waiting on SMU. Now, if Florida plays SMU, I got SMU for the win.
Because y'all gonna beat SMU, that's what you saying?
We probably gonna beat SMU 41-17, something like that. And hopefully they don't beat y'all's 41-17, something like that.
All right. By that time, we're gonna be healthy. He's gonna be able to run.
Yeah, if I were y'all, I would not run Lagway. I would not run him at all. Y'all already saw the risk of running him. Well,
Yeah,
point, think about it. Who is your backup?
yeah, you right.
Some dude named Warner, Wiener, whatever. You do not want that. Do not run Lagway, man. Play him the way y'all been playing them. Get y'all secure wins.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Landway don't have to run for us to win. That's the difference. He's a natural thrower already, so he just a run, just open up everything. That's it.
Now I know you were busy watching y'all game, but did you catch any of the Hurricanes?
No, I here and there.
Yeah, so you guys already know we dropped 42 on Wake Forest.
Yeah, I didn't think compete with y'all for the first half, but yeah, I think y'all will for the whole time.
All right, so for Sarge, earlier Sarge was in here. So Sarge, yeah, see at the end of the first quarter, it was Miami 10, Wake Forest 7. So Miami never trailed. Then Miami when it scored again and made it 17, then they scored on a run back or whatever return. And then after that, he dropped 22 on them in the fourth quarter. So yeah. So yeah, my score prediction for this game was I think it was 45 to like 27. I gave Wake Forest 27 because I didn't honestly know what defense was going to be playing in this game. Because obviously, as being an honest Miami fan, the last couple of weeks, defense has been kind of suspect. Is the word for it? Yeah. Plus, coming off a loss, to Georgia Tech, bye week, they got it together. They came back out, and we did the thing. Cam Ward, 27 for 35, for 38, 280, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Now the interception, ill-advised, flicked it right to the defense. Obviously, we're trying to get it to Elijah Arroyo, but apparently he wasn't aware of where he needed to be to actually catch that. Plus, it wasn't even like a planned play; it was an improvised thing. So, interception should have just taken a sack or just let the play be dead, basically. But be like that sometimes. Still a good win for Miami. Running the ball wise, man. Jordan Lau. That running back that was committed to Ohio State that Miami flipped that the Gators wanted so bad to,
No,
he came to Miami. He did earlier on this season run for like 91 yards that from the line of scrimmage. That's a Miami record, by the way. So he did that. But yesterday he went 7 for 115 in the touchdown. Now Damian Martinez, he also contributed, 6 for 63. And Mark Fletcher 6. Damian Martinez was 16 for 63. Mark Fletcher, he added 6 for 55. And obviously Cam Ward, he had negatives. He didn't really run the ball. Frustrate me with Cam Ward sometimes, though. It's like he do have lanes where he could take off when he move to the sides or whatever, stroll to the sides. He can take off sometimes, but he just sometimes refuses to. He's still looking downfield, looking for people. But I be seeing so many times like, yo, just take the run. It's right there in front of you. Pick up the yards, or you can even get out of bounds.
Right.
But it's like
that's that way. He just right now he can't even move. Like the run, avoid pressure. That's why sometimes we give up sacks because he ain't helping enough. That's what I'm saying. Not like just running though.
No,
but that's what Ward too. He having lanes to run. He won't run. It's good that you want to improvise and try to throw, but sometimes just run. Go get the first down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just move the sticks.
Right.
Jacoby George, 7 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns yesterday. Arroyo, 6 catches for 79 yards. The tight end was very utilized yesterday. Restrepo, more reliable. Had a fumble yesterday, and I know it happens here and there. Even it happens to the best of them, but it was kind of out of character to see it happen to Restrepo. But nonetheless, he still had 5 catches for 45 yards. So shout out to Restrepo.
Oh, Junior.
Yeah, he a redshirt junior, but I think he was honored as a senior. So I don't think Arroyo's coming back next season. I don't think so. Find out. We'll find out, but I think he was honored as a senior yesterday.
Yeah, he dangerous.
When that happens, then you can already tell that they're gonna be, going to the league.
Yeah, he's gonna be great in the league.
Sam Brown contributed yesterday, 3 catches for 26 yards. Also, obviously Isaiah Horton, 3 catches, 18 yards, and yeah, that's Miami's production, man. Obviously, Cam Ward and Restrepo, they both fumbled. Restrepo fumbled. Cam Pewitt, he recovered the fumble. Yeah, but solo tackles, 7 for Maigo. Linebackers had a pretty good day. Defense had a pretty good day. We got to catch them interceptions when they give it to us. We got to catch them. Mish Powell, he had an interception to ran back, 76 yards, pick 6. So that's good. Yep. But Chris Johnson, he had 1 run yesterday, 1 return, basically one for 26 yards. A lot of fans. I was talking in the spaces yesterday on Twitter with the fans about, Chris Johnson, him being so fast, but not being able to make nobody miss, not being able to juke nobody, or can that be taught? Can you teach a player how to juke? Can you, as fast as he is, can you teach him how to shake?
That's like a natural trait. I don't know if you can really teach that.
Man, you could start with giving him the little chicken leg, the little chicken shake, because that's what everybody used to do.
Right. That's the simple basic.
Or give him the little quick 1 step.
That's shocking.
I think it's got to be somebody out there that can teach him how to juke.
I mean, yeah, it's training and drills you can do to enhance it, make him better. But yeah, he should, for a person here with that type of speed, I'm sure that's a question for him. I ain't know that.
Yeah, but the opportunity is there. They can't say, "Hey, Miami got this kid that's a Ferrari," but they're not playing him. They playing him. He just ain't had an opportunity to basically take one to the house. He's had plenty of time, plenty of opportunities. I mean, he had plenty of chances. So it ain't like we holding him back. But hey, we'll see, man. It looked pretty good yesterday. Everything looked solid. Defense, I gotta tap my hat off to the defense. For them to only give up 7 points, obviously the other 7 came on special teams. But for the defense to only give up 7 points yesterday after all this suspect talk, after all the Lance Guidry slander and all that, it's good to see a good defensive outing by Miami. And offense going to do what it do. We always come alive, well, except against Georgia Tech, but we always come alive in the second half too. But first half this time around, we did put up 20 points, so 42 in total, 22 in the second half. So it's good outing for Miami. Next game, Wake Forest. Woo, man! We got Syracuse coming up. Syracuse.
Y'all got to go there.
Yeah, we finna go in there, knock the dome off that thing, and then it's gonna be snowing in their stadium. We for the ACC championship. Here we come, baby. ACC
that's who y'all.
Say it again.
Y'all be playing SMU in the ACC championship.
Yep.
Yeah, if Yeah.
Miami the second. Miami Junior.
Oh yeah.
Well, all they got is all our players.
Yeah,
So
y'all did it. Go ahead.
Florida State versus Charleston Southern. Can you believe at the end of the first quarter this game was 0-0?
I can believe that.
Florida State, man. I want you to listen to these numbers by the quarterback for Charleston Southern. 22 for 32, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Okay.
My man was 22 for 32.
That means last week I fell for 300 next week. I like it.
Now, they quarterbacks, on the other hand, 13 for 20. That's what Luke Cromahawk, or whatever they call him. That's what he did. Huh?
What you say his stat was, Luke?
13 for 20, 209, 3 touchdowns.
And Luke Cromahawk.
And then you got Brock Glenn, which this is very shocking, but he was 3 for 3 for 31 yards. But Brock Glenn,
He's terrible. That's why
this is another reason why I would never tell a quarterback to go to Florida State. Marvell ruins quarterback. The ones that he brought in Tate Rodemaker, ruined them. My boy had to transfer out. Brock Glenn will be transferring out next season. I doubt he stays here.
I don't see him staying.
I don't see it.
Not better than Luke. Got way more talent.
Running back wise, Toafili, man, Toafili, they don't appreciate you enough, man. You should have left last year. 6 carries for 33 yards. Now they got Cam Davis as the main guy. He got 9 carries for 39 yards. You got the Cortez home guy that they were so high on. He was 3 for 38 with 2 touchdowns.
They were.
Man, it's just crazy to see Florida State dominate in week 11 against a lesser. Man, they can't even pop their collar this week.
Nah.
They beat a 1-10 team. Now they 1-11. Man, that's tough. Man, that's tough right there.
I told you they were better off to go with Luke. As soon as they took DJ out, you should just went with Luke. That's your best quarterback on your roster. With more talent, just get them ready for next year.
Man. Remember, I told you last year when we was comparing wide receivers, I was like, man, you got Trey Wilson, you got Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George. They were like, oh, what about Florida State? Y'all ain't got nobody. Clearly. They finally
y'all do not have a receiver that scare anybody.
And former wide receiver, I'm a 5-star.
Hakeem Wick.
35 Man, Florida State right now, this is just a peanut gallery. Man,
we talk what Hakeem gonna do. Oh, Hakeem gonna have a great year. Okay.
Man, that's tough. What's his name? I'm trying to see where my boy at. I'm looking at these tackles made and all that. Yeah, where my boy? Oh, Darrell Jackson yesterday had 1 tackle.
I'll stay on that man.
Bro, production. Absolutely no production. My boy had 1 tackle against Charleston Southern.
Y'all did the right thing. Let him leave.
How bad is Charleston Southern, you may ask? They 0-8 in conference. They 1-11. But Darrell Jackson managed to get 1 tackle. I'm so glad he left Coral Gables. Man, big lazy.
Yeah, he's lazy.
Straight from big production to big lazy.
Right. That's all his whole thing. He don't give no effort.
You know what? Let me go into Florida State real quick. Let me see if they put out a prediction for y'all game yet. See if they put ESPN prediction. See what the
Uh,
percentage is if they put
I
it out.
think, yeah, I think I seen. I think we
Oh,
like 80%
yeah, damn. They got Florida as an 82.8% chance to win that game. Florida State at 17.2. Florida State fans
Yeah.
looking at the 17.2 and saying, "Oh, so you saying there's a chance?" Yo,
They home.
so damn Charleston Southern, y'all ruined the
Yeah, they did. And Charles
streak.
would have put more points up. It'd have been higher.
They ruined it, man. I wanted to see
Yeah.
all hills on Florida State, but they ruined it. It's all good though. Man, that's
But they
tough.
also SBS team. That's they 2 wins.
Oh,
Let's
shit.
help home. And they should have lost the first one.
If DJ come back next season, if the NCAA grant him that medical red shirt, whatever, and he come back to play for Florida State, oh my God,
Hey,
that's
he
just
take
yeah.
my team. So the state crazy they put him back out there.
If they bring back DJ to Florida State next season, I'll bet it right now. I'll bet 1,000 on Miami.
I would too.
As a matter of fact, if DJ come back next season, and even when they play Florida, I'll put 1,000 on Florida too.
If he do that, Luke gonna transfer. That's crazy.
But you know the biggest talk for Florida State, the biggest narrative this all off season is going to be who they bringing in for the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. That's going to be their whole narrative for the whole off season. So
Whole
for
line.
all you Florida State fans, prepare yourself. Make your list. Get your Christmas list ready for your defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. Some of y'all gonna have some ridiculous names on there that would never go to Florida State, but it is what it is. Get y'all list
Like
together.
they want Mary. They want the go-go.
Y'all might be doing the same thing though, and
Oh
Miami.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Miami
yeah,
all
I know.
doing it
Y'all
because Dawson might end up going to Rice. If that happened, we'll need an offensive coordinator. If we hire from within, or we go out and get somebody. I think Mario is pretty high on Candle.
he already on y'all team, right? Oh, you talking about the K-State dude?
Yeah, it might be on him. I think he's at Toledo right now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he might be high on Candle still. You wanted him last time, but we got Dawson. So we'll see. I think y'all high on that UNLV guy.
Yeah, we love the go-go guy.
So fans wise, I don't know what Billy mind. I don't know what he thinking.
Billy, that was the thing about it. He was man, I could shoot Billy.
You already know. You already know what's gonna happen. He's gonna say, "I think we got the best chance to win with me calling him."
You were supposed to hire him last year. He
So,
was ready to go.
but what I told y'all when he promoted what the guy named Galloway.
Oh yeah.
So,
But see, we didn't have a problem with him promoting Russ if he let Russ run Russ offense. We
but
didn't have a problem.
what happened when you hire somebody within that's already running your system? You gonna call the plays. You gonna call the plays.
When we saw that, we knew it was like, man, I don't know if he's gonna really let Russ call it. Because see, that's what happened with y'all. The day we before we played y'all, Billy changed the whole offense. Russ was supposed to call the plays.
Well, if that's the case, Billy, do it again next year.
Hell no, Billy.
Do it again next. This time we'll drop 51.
We had to change DC because this ain't Ron Roberts defense.
But man,
This Armstrong. That's why defense been playing better. I ain't have a problem with Armstrong. That's what we kept telling them. Like Armstrong wasn't a problem; it was the player. he had him in position. He can't make the tackle. Now you see different because people they tackle better. Same defense. People
All right,
make them better.
I got an update for Florida State fans real quick. They should probably enjoy this stat. So Florida State obviously don't have no more ACC games to play. They have already wrapped up their ACC play, and Florida State is absolutely the worst team in the ACC. They are 1-7 in conference. Every other team in the ACC has at least two wins. Florida State is the solo guy with one win in conference. Man, that's tough. You are the worst team in the ACC after just a season ago winning the ACC. The funny thing and the ironic thing about it is all off season you guys sat around and talked so much shit about the ACC. You want to get out, you want to sue everybody. The ACC isn't big enough for Florida State, and look at you now. Look at you now. You're the worst team in the ACC. You're 1-7. What conference out here would want you right now? You think you're ready to go to the SEC? You lose to Vanderbilt. You lose to Auburn. Hell, you'll lose to Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, all of them. That's tough, Florida State. All that talk over the SEC, the ACC. Now, obviously, Miami do have one more game to play in ACC play. SMU also. Clemson already wrapped it up at 7-1. So Syracuse versus Miami is a must-win for Miami. If Miami lose that game, pretty much our season is over. Our season would be over. They wouldn't let a 10-2 Miami in the playoffs. I don't think so. Obviously, our strength of schedule ain't that great either. So, with losses against Georgia Tech and Syracuse, Miami would be out. So, let's just go get this win. Obviously, if we do play the ACC championship and we lose, that's going to be another different story too. So, Miami, every game is a playoff game, like I've been telling you guys. Go get the win. That's it. Just go get the win. Keep winning. That's it. We're in playoff mode as of right now. Yesterday, we was on playoff mode. 1-0. This week is back to going for 1-0. So Syracuse is on the clock. All right. So let's talk about them games that got played, man. Let's talk about them games that got played. We're gonna talk about the ones that matter the most, and we're gonna speed through the other ones, basically. We're gonna talk about some of the ones that matter the most, and then we're gonna speed through the ones that really don't matter that much. Obviously, so we'll start in conference. We ain't gonna do top 25 because then we'll be here all day. Then I'll have to do top 25, then go through the conference. When you go through the conference, all those games will be there already. So Friday night, Georgia Tech got the win over NC State by a point. Georgia Tech is now 7-4. They good to go. NC State is still looking for a win to be bowl eligible. That's pretty much it. So they got one more game to do it. Obviously, when we go into week 14, you'll see who NC State's opponent is. Most likely it's North Carolina because it's rivalry week. But nonetheless, Miami handled business. We already talked about that game. So SMU first season into the ACC. Right now they're 7-0 in ACC play and 10-1. Their only loss came to BYU. Pretty good game, pretty win for them. Win the way they were supposed to. Obviously, Virginia scored 7, and that was in the fourth quarter. So you might as well just say that's garbage time points. Game was already over. 33-7. 33-7. Jenkins had a good game. 25 for 33, 223 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Brashard Smith, 19 carries, 63, and a touchdown. Did Miami not utilize Brashard Smith correctly? That seemed to be a theme and a question now that we see the success that he's having over at SMU. That seemed to be the question. What do you guys think? Y'all let me know in the chat. Clemson did what they supposed to against the Citadel, improving to 9-2. Next game was against South Carolina. Now, me personally, I think South Carolina is a better team than Clemson. Obviously, it's rivalry week, and I think that game could probably go either way. But for some reason, after watching South Carolina these last couple weeks or so, I think South Carolina might get that win. If I'm leaning towards South Carolina, but we'll talk about that soon too. Syracuse, they handle business against UConn. Syracuse 8-3. This would be a good win for Miami. This would be a good win. They already got 8 wins. Most of the teams that Miami did play and beat, this season ain't been, that great or whatever. So it would be nice to be the team that, above 500 and move up in the rankings a little bit more. Kind of want to position yourself to be right now. We're probably going to move up to number 6 when the rankings come out. So it's going to be good to position yourself as close as possible, to being the top team in the country. So if you do end up, losing a game or so, then you won't drop too far to where you drop clean out of the picture. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So get the win against them, and then we'll move on. But Syracuse, they won their game 31-24 against UConn. UConn is a 7-4 team, so pretty decent win for them. Looked like it was a good game, back and forth, and they win by 7. So yeah. North Carolina got beat yesterday by 20 points. Boston College beat them. Both teams are now bowl eligible. So all they got to do is just finish out their rivalry week and, go into the postseason. Both teams already got 6 wins. They both 6-5. So, good luck to them. Like I said, North Carolina, they'll play NC State at. And NC State is looking for that win. So if they get that, they could be bowl eligible also. South Carolina, Charleston Southern lose to Florida State. Y'all already know that. Cal beats Stanford. Cal beat Stanford 24-21. Stanford jumped out on them early, but Cal fought back and they ended up winning that thing 24-21. Cal is now bowl eligible, guys. Cal is bowl eligible. While Stanford is at 3-8, so they're pretty much their season is done. Well, their season been done, but just got worse. Louisville hands Pitt their 4th straight loss. Think about that. Pitt started off 7-0, and the last 4 games has all been L's. Louisville 37-9. Louisville 37-9. What a turnaround season for Pitt in the wrong direction. 7-0 to now 7-4. That's tough. Duke beats Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech had one job to do yesterday, guys. All you had to do was beat Duke, and you would be bowl eligible. Nope. Instead, Duke wins 31-28. Duke now improved to 8-3. Congratulations to Manny Diaz, man. Congratulations to Manny Diaz. Turning Duke into a respectable team against everybody else except Miami. We blew them out. But, good win for Duke, man. Good win for Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz is 8-3 right now at Duke. Now, obviously, I don't know who they play this upcoming week, but we'll find out. But Virginia, I think Virginia Tech will play Virginia, and that'll be for bowl eligibility. Now, 5-6 Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is 5-6. I want you guys to think about this. Coming into this season, Virginia Tech was so highly rated. They're bringing back this much production, these many seniors, this many guys. Man, was all those guys they bringing back that good? At this point, you can say no. At this point, you can actually say no. Let's see. Virginia. Where's Virginia at? Virginia's 5-6. Virginia versus Virginia Tech. Both teams are 5-6. Looking to be bowl eligible. Both teams, Virginia versus Virginia Tech, ACC play. They both 5-6. The winner of that rivalry game will be bowl eligible. That should be a good one. I can't tell you who's gonna win though. I can't definitively say Virginia Tech is gonna beat Virginia or Virginia gonna beat Virginia Tech. Man, that's gonna be a good one. Man, that's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a lot of good games. Obviously, rival week. Y'all know how it is. It's gonna be a good game though. Obviously, being very familiar with the ACC, week 13, going into week 14, I pretty much know most of the games that's going to be played. But nonetheless, some of them probably ain't on my mind right now because some of the ACC teams don't really have true rivals. And Miami's rival in the ACC, obviously, is Florida State. You got Florida, of course, and we don't play each other in rival week. Florida State and Florida play each other, so Miami and rival week never really have a true rival. So, this year we play Syracuse, but we'll see. And you say VTech's rival is Virginia, so we would never play them in rival week. But Georgia Tech versus Georgia, that game will be on Friday night. That'll be on the Friday night. It's gonna be in Athens, so home game for Georgia. Georgia Tech already bowl eligible. They 7-4. Georgia is sitting at 9-2. For some odd reason, man, I got Georgia Tech for the upset. I think if they're gonna upset Georgia in any year, this gonna be the year. I just got a strong feeling. I wouldn't put no money behind it, guys. I'm being honest with you. I wouldn't put no money behind it. This is just a strong feeling. But I got Georgia Tech beating Georgia. I got them for the upset. Now, Stanford, they'll play San Jose State. Meaningless game, obviously. If Stanford were to win, they'll just be 4-8, no bowl, no nothing. They're already 6-5, so that's a Friday night game. 2 ACC games on a Friday night. Now, ESPN 3:30 next week. You got Miami versus Syracuse. Syracuse at home. Clearly, Miami's going to be the favorite. I don't think they're going to put the over and under, the spread and all that. I don't think it's going to be too high. Now, the over and under might be high, but the spread won't. I don't think the spread will be too high. I think it'll probably be Miami by 10 somewhere. They're going to stay somewhere around there, 10-14. They don't want to really, give up too much money. Vegas don't want to do that. So it'll probably be around 10-14 or probably get as high as 17, somewhere around there, in my opinion. But Miami will go to New York, Syracuse, next week, final game of the season, the regular season. And then we'll go into the postseason, the conference championships and stuff like that. So all Miami has to do to make it to the ACC championship is beat Syracuse. So Syracuse is looking to spoil. If Syracuse win this game, they're not going to no ACC championship. The ACC championship will be set. If Miami loses this game, it'll be Clemson versus SMU. If Miami wins, it's Miami versus SMU. SMU can actually lose this game this week, and it would not affect them. They still would be in the ACC championship. So SMU is the only one that got room for error this week. Now, clearly, they don't want to lose, playoff-wise, because if you end up losing in the ACC championship game, depending on, who lose and who win next week, then, there's a chance where SMU could probably make a case for themselves if they end up losing the ACC championship to Miami and, see if they could get into the playoffs with the 2 losses. Obviously, some SEC teams would have to go down. Some Big Ten teams would have to go down too. So their argument will be stronger. But I don't see it happening the way a lot of people think it would. But it is what it is. Florida State versus Florida. Florida's looking to win 7 games this season, keep the momentum going. This game is in Tallahassee. It don't matter. Florida State, I think, lose this game. And it is what it is. Now, if Florida State were to upset Florida, obviously for the channel purpose, that'll be just for laughs and giggles and, talk trash to Florida, especially after, beating all these SEC teams and then lose to an ACC bottom feeder in Florida State, the worst team in the ACC. Did I say Florida State is the worst team in the ACC? Yeah, I did. Florida State is the worst team in the ACC. That's tough. Pitt versus Boston College, both teams are basically already bowl eligible. Boston College would look to improve to 7 wins and Pitt in trying to end this 4-game losing streak that they're on. So this game is played at Boston College, so we'll see how that turns out. Clemson versus South Carolina. Clemson's at home. ACC versus SEC. Now, I'm not an ACC homer. I don't like Clemson. I've been watching South Carolina play this season. Now, obviously, I don't like you SEC homers, you SEC nut huggers, but I'm still rooting for South Carolina in this one. I just don't like Clemson that much. I want to see this Clemson downfall. I want to see them not get this win, not get the 10 in the regular season. If they want to get it in the postseason, that's cool. But I've been liking South Carolina this season, man. I've been liking them. I don't know if I want Clemson with a 10-2 with some arguments. I don't think I want Clemson to be a part of the chaos that is a 10-win team with 2 losses trying to argue with the SEC and everybody else trying to get in the playoffs. It's going to be a whole bunch of chaos. Man, that's tough. Louisville, of course, they're 7-4. Rival week against Kentucky. Kentucky, nothing to play for. All they would do is just stain Louisville. Kentucky is 4-7. Even if they win this game, they will not be going to a bowl. They'll be 5-7. So they'll just look to put a little stain on Louisville if they win that game. Rival week. Same kind of thing with Duke versus Wake Forest. Wake Forest win this game, they'll be 5-7. They won't be bowl eligible. Duke's already won 8 games. So Manny Diaz is looking to beat Wake Forest and basically have a 9-win season over there at Duke and possibly go to a bowl game to make a 10-win season at Duke. So this is what Manny's playing for. Manny's playing for make it look better. Plain and simple. That's what it is. Make it look better. Make your record look better so you can recruit a little bit better. So you can make promises to kids. Look, we just won 10 games this season. Let's, bring you in and, obviously Duke got a little money behind them too. So we'll bring you in, we'll improve, and we could fight for championships. That's pretty much what Duke is playing for. Cal, they're already bowl eligible. SMU bowl eligible. SMU is basically 7-0 in conference. If SMU loses this game at home to Cal, they still will be playing for the ACC championship. Cal will just look to improve. They're already bowl eligible at 6-5. They'll just look to improve to 7-5, but they look to spoil. Cal looked to spoil SMU's perfect ACC record or whatever. I do believe that SMU gonna win this game. I do believe SMU will finish perfect in ACC at 8-0, and they'll play Miami. But this college football. Every week we've seen something crazy happen. Alabama lost to Oklahoma yesterday, 24-3. That's tough. So anything can happen any week. North Carolina versus NC State. NC State 5-6. They're looking for bowl eligibility. They go into North Carolina, obviously Chapel Hill. They're going in there to get a win and be bowl eligible against North Carolina. So I think NC State could get the job done. I don't trust North Carolina at all, to be honest with you. So who knows? Maybe NC State will be bowl eligible at the end of this week. Virginia versus Virginia Tech, same deal, but both of these teams are sitting at 5-6. Both of these teams are sitting at 5-6. So one of them will end up being bowl eligible while the other one will be sent home. So this is in ACC play. Virginia versus Virginia Tech has the biggest stake. This is a game where both teams are 5-6. Both teams, postseason is on the line. So it all depends on who won it more. Virginia Tech is such a disappointment in 2024. All that hype in the beginning of the season, all that hype. It seemed like after the Miami game, everything went downhill for Virginia Tech. Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind. It was before that. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Vanderbilt, and that kind of showed you. But then Vanderbilt became such a big talk around college football each week that, you know what, it was kind of not considered such a bad loss. But then they just continue to lose. They just continue to lose. Nothing's been really going their way. Man, Virginia Tech is such a disappointment. But that's tough. Obviously, we talked about the ACC, the most important conference right now. And I guess we'll talk about the SEC next. I guess we could talk about the SEC next. I kind of want to hear what Feinbaum got to say. I'm going to go check him out later, see what he got to say about all this. Because, you know, he's been one of the biggest SEC nut huggers around. Texas handled business. Texas is the highest ranked SEC team right now at number 3 in the country. They handled business against Kentucky yesterday. Kentucky basically is a team that has no postseason for them. Even if they win this upcoming week, no postseason. Alabama versus Oklahoma. Alabama versus Oklahoma. Let me go ahead and make this very clear. Alabama, trash, garbage, basuda. Oklahoma, bro. Oklahoma, this loss couldn't come any sooner. Man, that's tough. That was a little bit corny, but man, that's tough. This loss right here. Oklahoma just became bowl eligible against Alabama. The Crimson Tide, supposed to be the number 7 team in the country. The team that you guys put over the University of Miami with 1 loss. Now you got 3 losses. You was a 2-loss team that they put over the Miami Hurricane. Y'all fans was talking so much trash. How is Miami ranked ahead of Alabama? Our schedule is so hard, blah, blah, blah. Look at you. Look at you. Not only did you lose to Vanderbilt, but you also lost to Oklahoma. All the SEC nut hugging, it got to stop. It got to stop. At some point, it got to stop. You nut hug Alabama, look at them. You nut hug Ole Miss, look at them. 3-loss teams now. 3-loss teams now. These are all the teams that y'all said the Miami Hurricanes did not deserve to be above. Now look at you. Now look at you. Catching L's every week. Catching L's. How does it feel to have 3 losses this season? I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I could lose my next game and I still couldn't tell you. 10-1, baby. 10-1. But that's what we go up against every week. Georgia won their game. They struggled against UMass for a while, and then they won. But these are all the teams. Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee. These are the teams that they was crying that should be ahead of Miami. But look at them now. Look at them now. All this SEC nut hugging got to stop. Plain and simple. Alabama, 3 measly points against Oklahoma. Oklahoma ain't had no offense all year, but they found one against Alabama. Alabama, 3 points, dog? 3 points? Man, I just want to hear all the SEC homers crying. I need some explanation of what is going on. 3 points, Alabama? Jalen Monroe, 3 interceptions, bro? No touchdowns? Just 3 interceptions? Man, but this is a guy that they was trying to put above Cam Ward. Put above Cam Ward in the Heisman race. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Let's keep it moving, man. We already talked about Florida Ole Miss. We already talked about Georgia, being a very disappointing team against the UMass in the beginning. They still won. Tennessee handled business. You know, Georgia and Tennessee, they handled business yesterday. But guess what? They didn't play nobody. UTEP. Tennessee, 56-0. UTEP. That's what you got. Auburn with the shocker. Look at Auburn. Look at Auburn keeping their season alive. Texas A&M is a total disappointment. Texas A&M Aggies, y'all are a total disappointment. Lost in overtime, 43-41 to Auburn. Auburn was a 4-6 team going into this game. Total embarrassment. Total embarrassment. Texas A&M, all you had to do was win this and play Texas, and you would have had a shot to play for the SEC championship. You would have had a shot to solidify yourself as one of the 4 best. You had a shot, and you blew it. You blew it. That's typical Texas A&M fashion, blowing everything. That's tough, man. That's tough. Auburn is 5-6. Next week is the Iron Bowl. They play Alabama. Auburn could become bowl eligible next week. Man, that's tough. Ooh, I can't wait. We're going to talk about these rivalry weeks in the SEC pretty soon. South Carolina, nothing to see here. Handle business against Wofford. Wofford season is over. South Carolina 8-3. They play Clemson next, obviously. 56-12. Missouri improve 8-3. Beats Mississippi State. Mississippi State and Florida State is like almost the same team, but Mississippi State got a little bit more fight in them. They 2-9. They 2-9. They lost by pretty much 19 points yesterday. Missouri 39, they're 20. So, nothing to see there. Arkansas, they got their win over Louisiana Tech, 35-14. And Vanderbilt, 24, LSU, Vanderbilt 17. The magic has ran out at Vanderbilt. The magic ran out. They still bowl eligible though. They 6-5. Vanderbilt's going to a bowl game with a win against Alabama, and that's the Super Bowl now. The win against Alabama, man. That's tough, Vanderbilt. We all had hopes and dreams that you guys would rise to the top, but just like every Cinderella story that we know in sports, it never works out. They never work out. Them Cinderella stories never work out. So that's what you got in the SEC right now. Those were the matches yesterday. This upcoming week for the SEC, rivalry week. Can't even get it out right. Rivalry week. You got Mississippi State versus Mississippi. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Ole Miss will bounce back this week, man. They'll get a 9 win. They'll drop in the rankings. They won't be number 9 anymore. But yeah, that's what you got, Ole Miss, after losing to Florida yesterday. Total disappointment. Y'all will be at home against Mississippi State in rivalry week. I think you'll win the game. I think you'll improve to 9-3, and then you'll go into the postseason to whatever lesser bowl game that you'll play in. Jackson Dart, my guy, what up? You're not throwing down to you no more. Obviously, we already talked about rivalry week for Georgia Tech and Georgia. So you got Georgia Tech versus Georgia. You got North Carolina versus NC State. You got Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Those are on Friday night. So you got some good games on Friday. You got some good games coming up Friday. Mississippi State is at 3:30. So some of you guys probably will be, if you're working 9 to 5, you'll probably be getting off work right around the time that Mississippi versus Ole Miss versus Mississippi State is supposed to be over with. So those are Friday games, man. Friday gonna have a lot of games on. Florida versus Florida State, we already talked about. Rivalry week, you got Tennessee versus Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, you got one more chance to spoil somebody's season. You go up against Tennessee. Now, clearly, I still think this game could go either way. Vanderbilt, you've been playing some good games. You ain't been winning, but you ain't been getting blown out either. So Vanderbilt, you still got a chance. I would take Tennessee for the win, but Vanderbilt, you still got a chance. You know, do your thing. We already talked about those. Auburn versus Alabama. Auburn versus Alabama. So Auburn 5-6. Alabama 8-3. Alabama just came off a huge loss yesterday, 24-23 against Oklahoma. Auburn with a huge upset against Texas A&M. Auburn versus Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Can Auburn go in there, get the win, and become bowl eligible? That's a huge question. Will we see the same Alabama team that we saw last night versus Auburn? I doubt it. I think that Alabama will actually play with some pride this time around. But that's going to be an interesting game. That's going to be a very interesting game. Auburn versus Alabama. Auburn looks to be bowl eligible. Alabama looks not to be shamed, basically. I want Auburn for the win. I hope Auburn win. Not going to bet on it, but I want Auburn to win that so bad. So bad. I want all you Alabama fans to start to crying. We miss Nick Saban. The board got to go. All that. I'm here for all of that. I'm here for all of that. Arkansas versus Missouri. Both teams already bowl eligible. Missouri's at home. Missouri looks to improve to 9-3. You know, obviously, Arkansas looks to improve to 7-5. Basically, these are just recruiting battles. Basically, that's pretty much what it is. Oklahoma versus LSU. Bowl eligibility. Both teams already bowl eligible. This is just basically one of those games for, you know, recruitment. That's what it is. Recruitment. That's what it is. Texas A&M versus Texas. Now, as terrible as that loss was to Auburn, Texas A&M is still in the mix. They play a 6-1 Texas team, number 3 team in the country, this upcoming week. If they could beat Texas, they could throw a monkey wrench in all this SEC stuff because they'll improve to 6-2. Texas will be 6-2. Georgia's 6-2. Who else is 6-2 in this SEC thing? Who else is 6-2 in conference? Tennessee, if they beat Vanderbilt, they'll be 6-2. It'll be a lot. It'll be a lot going on in the SEC this week. It'll be a lot going on. There'll be a lot of teams finishing 6-2 in the SEC, and then they'll be talking about who's in the SEC championship. So this week, man, this week in the SEC, it's still going to be a lot of chaos. A lot of the other conference are more clear cut, but the SEC, chaos, absolute chaos. So the winner of the Texas, thank you, BB. So the winner of the Texas versus Texas A&M game, one of those teams will end up playing against Georgia for the SEC championship. So Georgia's pretty much clear cut to play for the SEC championship. With that Alabama loss yesterday, Alabama, man, you see what y'all did? Y'all made it a lot more clear. Man, it's tough. Chaos. Who would be a better opponent for Georgia? We already seen Georgia beat Texas. Would Texas A&M be a better opponent for Georgia? What do y'all think? Anyways, let's go into the Big 12. We'll talk about them. What happened? What transpired yesterday? Obviously, Deion Sanders took a beating. You know, we talk about you when you do good, Deion. We're gonna talk about you when you do bad too. We're gonna talk about you when you do bad too, Deion. So BYU, 2 weeks in a row, they lost. And I told you guys this. I told you guys last week, go back and look, pull it up on you can fast forward it to when we was talking about the Big 10, the Big 12, I'm sorry. I told you guys that Arizona was going to get this win. I told you guys that BYU was going to take 2 losses in a row, and that's exactly what happened. Now, this game ended in dramatic fashion, of course. You got some eager fans that's willing to rush the field, and obviously, sometimes these games are not over. If there's a second left on the clock, the game ain't over. You got to line it up, and it got to hit 0. The clock got to be on 0. So if 1,000 fans on the field, guess what? You got to get all them 1,000 fans off the field, and you got to run a play. That's what happened. Now, BYU ran a play, threw a Hail Mary. They actually caught the ball, but it was at the 2-yard line that the guy got tackled. Didn't get in the end zone. Game over, 28-23. Dramatic ending. BYU, 9-2. Arizona State, 9-2. Arizona State get the nod. Colorado, Kansas, 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row knocks off 2 of the best teams in the Big 12. Kansas, right now, is 1 game away from being bowl eligible. This was a 4-6 team that beat Colorado yesterday. Now, some of you guys was probably asking, where's Travis Hunter? He played. 8 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. Where was Shedeur Sanders? He played. 3 touchdowns. He threw 3 touchdowns. He was 23 for 29, 266 yards. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Kansas, I don't know what it is about Kansas, but late stretch, they just been doing a thing or two. Man, Colorado, Dion fans, keep y'all head up. When y'all win, you talk big. So you already know the haters, they going to be talking big. Keep your head up, man. Obviously, when I'm done going through all these games and the upcoming ones in rivalry week, we're going to talk about conference championship games. Some of them are already solidified. Some of them's not. We're going to talk about all of them. Iowa State, they got the win against Utah. Utah's been a total disappointment ever since damn near week 4. Iowa State got the win, 3-point win, 31-28, close game. Utah put up a fight, just weren't enough. TCU, on the other hand, blew out Arizona. That's pretty much the Big 12 right now. A lot of teams beating up on each other, plain and simple, in the late stretch. Oklahoma State, probably the biggest disappointment of all in the Big 12. Started out as the highest ranked one, and look at them now. They 3-8, 0-8 in conference. 0-8 in conference. Who would have thought? Texas A&M 56. Oklahoma State 48. Man, that's tough. UCF took another beating yesterday. Their season is over. West Virginia became bowl eligible. West Virginia, the Mountaineers are going bowling. 31-21. A lot of controversy at UCF. At one point, Jakari Brown was the quarterback. Now they're going with the freshman. Man, UCF is going in the wrong direction right now. Thank God Miami didn't bring in KJ Jefferson like some of the fans wanted KJ Jefferson in the offseason. Man, some of y'all, that's tough. Baylor beats Houston. Houston season is over. 4-7 right now. The next game, if they win it, they'll be 5-7, no bowl. Cincinnati got beat yesterday. It's Kansas State. Kansas State season, when it comes to Big 12 championship, it's over. They already had 3 losses, but nonetheless, They beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati now 5-6 with one game left. They look to be bowl eligible if they win their next game. So just put up or shut up for Cincinnati this upcoming week. So there's only one team, and that's Cincinnati and Kansas. Those are the two teams with five wins that looks to become bowl eligible. So Cincinnati and Kansas, those are the two teams in the Big 12 that you really want to pay attention to this next coming week because they're going to play their hearts out. They're going to try to be bowl eligible. So let's go into week 14 for them, rivalry week. Let's see what these rivalry games will look like, for the Big 10, the Big 12. Let's see what the rivalry weeks will look like. What game is at stake? So Colorado on a Friday, 12 p.m. Like I said, guys, there's a lot of games that will be played on Friday. Colorado versus Oklahoma State. That's on Friday. That's at 12 p.m. Like I said, most of you guys probably will be at work during this. So, keep your ESPN app on hand or whatever. Whenever you can sneak and take a look at some of these scores if you're working or whatever. But Oklahoma State, Colorado, I got them for the win. I got Colorado for the win. They were at Boulder, last game of the season. Oklahoma State's been terrible. If Deion loses this game, then I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't know what to tell you guys. UCF versus Utah. That's also on Friday. That's at 8 p.m. at night. Both bottom feeder teams. Both of them 4-7. Both of them really not playing for nothing. They're really not playing for nothing. You can't be bowl eligible. You both got 4 wins. So it's battle for the 5th win, basically. UCF versus Utah. This game is in Orlando. Good luck. West Virginia versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech's at home. I think I'm going to take Texas Tech for the win. Just keep it moving on that one. That's one of those games that, could go either way. You got Kansas versus Baylor. So Kansas will take on Baylor. Kansas looks to be bowl eligible, guys. That's plain and simple. So if they can knock off Baylor, Baylor's already bowl eligible at 7 wins. So if they could knock off Baylor at home, like they knocked off the last 2 top teams that they played, if they could continue doing that, then Kansas will be bowl eligible this week. I think they luck run out, though. I ain't going to lie to you. I think Baylor gets the win. I think Kansas luck will run out this week. You got Arizona versus Arizona State. I'll take Arizona State for the win and just, go ahead and head into the Big 12 championship. I'll take Arizona State for the win. TCU versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati looks to be bowl eligible. 5 win versus TCU. This one I think could go either way. Cincinnati at home. They look to be bowl eligible. I think they play their hearts out for their crowd. I think they'll get the win. I'm a roll with Cincinnati to be bowl eligible over TCU. I'm a roll with them. Kansas State versus Iowa State. Right now, Iowa State is just playing for pride and playing to see if they could get into that Big 12 championship game. I think Kansas State gonna bust their bubble. I think Kansas State is gonna go into they're gonna go into Iowa State and get that win. BYU versus Houston. BYU at home after losing 2 straight. I think they'll bounce back against Houston. I think they'll get the win. I think it'll be a close game though, but I'll take BYU for the win, and they'll have a 10-2 season. So the Big 12 is still up there. It's still up there going in the rivalry week. Let's go into the Big 10 and cap this thing off. So upcoming week is rivalry week. But this week, starting on Friday, Michigan State had knocked off Purdue. Purdue is 1-10. Purdue is 1-10. I told you guys, Purdue is the Florida State of the Big Ten right now. They are 0-8 in conference. They 1-10 in total. Man, that's tough. With one game left, Purdue might end up being 1-10. 1-11. Man, that's tough. So Ohio State versus Indiana happened just like I told you guys. The Cinderella story came to an end. They're both 10-1 now. Ohio State with a dramatic win, emphatic win, 38-15. 38-15. Knocked off Indiana. The Hoosiers are no longer perfect. I tried to tell you guys. I tried to. A lot of people had hopes in Indiana. A lot of people say they didn't play nobody. I believed it. I believe they didn't play enough of quality teams to really measure them. And once they did play, against Ohio State, I knew they would lose. Guys, I got Ohio State as the Big Ten championship winners. So y'all already know where that was going. Penn State survived. Penn State survived last night. 26-25 against Minnesota. Minnesota, a 6-4 team at the time, 6-5 now. This is who they survived against. Close game. Last minute, last second. That's tough. Man, that's tough. Illinois also survived. They survived Rutgers. 31-38 loss for Rutgers. That's tough. Rutgers is still bowl eligible. So, good luck to them. Iowa ends up beating Maryland. I told you guys, as long as Josh Gaddis is Maryland's offensive coordinator, pick against Maryland. I told you guys this. As long as Josh Gaddis is Maryland's offensive coordinator, pick against Maryland. There it is. Iowa 29, Maryland 13. Oh, man. So Michigan became bowl eligible yesterday. Michigan is bowl eligible. Michigan with 6 wins. This is the former national champion, Michigan. They're 6-5, 50-6 against Northwestern. Northwestern season ended yesterday. Michigan is bowling. Nebraska 44, Wisconsin's 25. Nebraska is bowling. Now, Wisconsin, their season is not over yet. Obviously, this upcoming week will determine that. They're 5-6. Wisconsin, one more game or their season is over. Nebraska is bowling, guys. They're 6-5 right now. 6-5. Congratulations to them. USC, congratulations to them. They're also bowling. They ended UCLA's season yesterday. USC, total disappointment in 2024. Had a lot of high hopes going into the Big Ten, and it didn't pan out. USC 19-13 against UCLA, became bowl eligible, got their 6th win of the season. Congratulations to them. So obviously the playoffs and all that stuff is, pretty much coming up soon. Let's go into week 14 in the Big Ten, see the matchups. But I think it's clear to tell you guys right now that Oregon is playing for the Big Ten. I think it's clear to say they're 11-0. Even if they were to get a loss, they would still be in. So Oregon is playing, for the Big Ten championship. So Minnesota versus Wisconsin. This is a must-win for Wisconsin on Friday. This is a Friday game at 12 o'clock. That game will be on CBS. I told you guys, a lot of Friday games coming up in rivalry week. Wisconsin at home against Minnesota. Must win for them or their season is over. Wisconsin, this is a must win. Minnesota, they're already bowl eligible. Win or lose this game, they'll play for a bowl. Now you got Nebraska versus Iowa. That's on NBC Friday night at 7:30. They're both bowl eligible, so I guess this one is just for a better stock, um, possibly a better bowl, that kind of deal. And on Saturday, Michigan versus Ohio State. Now, clearly, this game is not going to be as hype as it normally would be. Michigan is a 6-win team. Ohio State, they're 10-1. Now, Ohio State's at home. Do I see Michigan upsetting them? No. Could it happen? Yes. This is college football. Anything could happen. I just don't see this happening this season. I told you guys already. My Big Ten champion is going to be Ohio State. So I don't see Michigan pulling the upset. I see the Big Ten championship being a rematch between Oregon and Ohio State. Battle of the O's, basically. Another meaningless game, of course. Illinois, they're bowl eligible with 8 wins versus Northwestern, who has nothing to play for. Maryland versus Penn State. Penn State for the win. Maryland is terrible. Josh Gaddis is their offensive coordinator. Plain and simple. Maryland, I don't see them upsetting nobody. Penn State at home. Penn State for the win. Penn State will be 11-1 and going into the playoffs without playing for any conference championship. Clear cut for them. As long as they win this game, it's a clear cut, which I do believe they do. Notre Dame versus USC. This one's playing Los Angeles. USC bowl eligible. Notre Dame 10-1 with 1 loss to Northern Illinois. USC looks to spoil. And boy, do I hope they do. If Notre Dame were to lose this game, I don't believe they'll be in the playoffs at all. So I would absolutely love for USC to pull this upset. USC, won't they do it? Michigan State versus Rutgers. Michigan State is looking to be bowl eligible. If they could get this win, they'll be 6-6, and they'll be bowling. They're at home. Last game, everything's on the line against Rutgers. I don't trust Michigan State. I don't trust them at all. But I think this game could go either way. Plain and simple. Fresno State, they're bowl eligible. They're 6-5. UCLA's season is over, so meaningless game in my opinion. Indiana versus Purdue. I think Indiana get the win. Huge win at home. Bounce back after getting pummeled by Ohio State. They'll improve to 11-1, and they'll go into the postseason. One of the worst, odds of winning it all. I think, be honest with you, Indiana, whoever they play in that first round, is going to knock them off because they're going to finally play another quality opponent. Plain and simple. So Indiana, I'll take them to beat Purdue, and they'll go into the postseason, and they'll get knocked off in the first round. Do what you want with that, Indiana fans. Oregon versus Washington. Oregon's at home. Washington's already bowl eligible at 6-5. Oregon looks to be perfect. At this point, I think Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, Oregon's probably the only undefeated team in the country, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think Oregon is the only undefeated team still in the country right now. I think everyone has at least half a loss. But Oregon's at 11-0. I think they'll finish 12-0. I think they'll beat Washington and go into the Big Ten championships. So those are your games that's upcoming. Now let's go into the standings. Clearly, rivalry week. Clearly, some things at stake for some of these teams. So Army, they're still perfect in their conference. They're still 7-0 in conference. They'll play for a conference championship. So I think they'll play Tulane if whatever happens this week. Um, who does Tulane play this week? Memphis. Yep. So Army and Tulane more than likely will play for that conference championship. More than likely they'll play the American Athletic Conference, the AAC. Clearly, the ACC, the scenario is already put out there for you guys. Miami win, Miami play SMU. If SMU lose, Miami play SMU. SMU has the only margin for error. They could lose and still play this upcoming week. If Miami lose, they're out. If Miami lose, it'll be SMU versus Clemson. All Miami has to do is beat Syracuse, and the ACC championship will be Miami versus SMU. If Miami loses against Syracuse, it'll be Clemson versus SMU. That's it for the ACC. Nothing else to talk about. And for all you Florida State fans on that, Florida State is 1-7 in conference. They're the worst ACC team in the country. They have one ACC win. Every other ACC team has at least two. Florida State is the absolute bottom feeder of the ACC. That's tough. Congratulations on your win against Georgia Southern. I'm at Charleston Southern, though. Good win. Huge dilemma, man. Huge dilemma over here in the Big 12. Big 12. So you got Arizona State atop of the conference right now. They're 6-2. You got BYU over there. They're 6-2. You got Iowa State 6-2. And Colorado 6-2. That's why yesterday's loss against Kansas for Colorado was such a huge disappointment. Because had they won, they would have been atop of the conference. We're pretty much going into the championship game, pretty much. But now they got to win to get in. You got 6 teams. Obviously, you got to break down who played who lost to who, and how did we get here. BYU and Iowa, I know for a fact they don't play each other because at one point they were the two that was leading for the conference without even running into each other or whatever. But now you got Arizona State, who basically beat BYU. I don't think Iowa State and Colorado play each other or any of those teams. So it's a tough situation right here. This is a tough situation. Colorado next opponent is Oklahoma State, the worst team in that conference. So Colorado got a great chance of making it. I think Iowa State, they got to play Kansas State, that's going to be a tough matchup. Arizona versus Arizona State, that's going to be an easy matchup for Arizona. Rivalry week nonetheless, but I think Arizona State is going to play for that championship, whether it's against BYU, Iowa State, or Colorado. But none of these teams are clear-cut to be in right now. Right now, you got a 4-way tie. Man, that's tough. Big 12, this week, y'all going to be the conference to pay attention. Now, Oregon, they'll take on Washington. Oregon will take on Washington. I think Oregon wins 12-0, 9-0 in conference. They go to the conference championship. I think Ohio State will knock off Michigan, and they'll go to the conference championship. Now, here's where things get messy. If Ohio State were to lose to Purdue, and you got Penn State. If they beat their opponent this week, I think is who do they play? Who do Penn State play this week? Let me double check on Penn State. I forgot who they play already. So Maryland. Okay. So Penn State play Maryland. The only wrench to be thrown into this, guys, is if Ohio State lose. If Ohio State lose, then you'll have to choose between Penn State and Indiana. If Ohio State loses this week to Michigan, and both Indiana beat Purdue, and Penn State beat Maryland, then you would have to choose between you'd have to choose between Indiana and Penn State to play Oregon for the Big Ten. So obviously, Penn State fans, you need Ohio State to lose. They beat y'all. Indiana fan, you need Ohio State to lose. They beat y'all. If y'all want to play for the Big Ten. Obviously, Penn State and Indiana, you need to win your game regardless to stay, alive for the playoffs. So if Ohio State wins, I'm pretty sure Indiana and Penn State, they're not going to be mad because more than likely they'll make it into the playoffs, both being 11-1, one loss. But if Ohio State were to lose, that's where things get tricky. Because if both Indiana and Penn State win, who do you put in there? Who you'd have to start comparing, games. They both only lost to Ohio State. Now you would have to start looking at, the strength of the rest of your opponents, both their opponents, and see who had a better one. And obviously that would be Penn State. So thank you for that too. There's another scenario. Let's just say all these teams lose this week. Let's just say Ohio State loses. The only team that could lose and still play is Oregon. The only team that could lose and still play is Oregon. They beat Ohio State. They would be in because Ohio State beat both Indiana and Penn State. Oregon is the only team that could lose this week, and it'll be okay for them. But I don't see them losing. But if all of these teams were to lose this week, Ohio State would get in. So it's between, let's just say Ohio State does lose. Let's just say they does lose. I think based on strength of schedule, Penn State would be playing Oregon. Based on strength of schedule, Penn State will be playing Oregon. All right, let's go to the SEC. Obviously, that one's pretty much clear-cut now. Boise State, they're still undefeated in conference. They'll play for their conference championship. They'll probably get the at-large for the for the group of fives because obviously yesterday huge loss for Army. So more than likely now you got a Boise that probably this week is going to end up being 11-1. Let's check to see who their opponent is this week. Oregon State. Oregon State's been terrible. I'll take Boise State for that win. So Boise State more than likely. They'll play for their conference championship, and they'll be the group of five at large. So let me dive into the SEC, and we can wrap this thing up. So Texas 6-1, last game versus Texas A&M. Whoever wins that game will play Georgia. If Texas win, it'll be Texas versus Georgia in the SEC championship. If Texas A&M win, they'll play Georgia in the championship. Plain and simple. That's it for the SEC now. That's it. Clear cut. Clear cut. Man, a lot of good games coming up rival week. A lot of games on Friday. As a matter of fact, let's check during the week because I'm pretty sure some of these other games in the other conferences they'll probably play outside of the top 25, outside of the Power Four. So you probably have some games in between this week. So you'll probably have some games in between this week. Let's see if they have any on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. See if you guys got games this week. So no games until Thursday. Thursday night you'll have Memphis versus Tulane. So Thursday night you'll have Memphis versus Tulane, guys. That's FCS. That's I'm sorry. Hold on. So I'm sorry. So Tuesday night you do have two games on Tuesday night. You'll have Toledo versus Akron. That's on Tuesday night. Both games are on 7. And then you'll have 0-11 Kansas State versus Buffalo. 0-11 Kansas State versus Buffalo. Man. See, Florida State, if y'all would have scheduled Kansas State this year, you'd have had one more win. You should have scheduled Kansas State. They 0-11. Man. Toledo versus Akron, Kansas State versus Kent State. Kent State, not Kansas. Kent State versus Buffalo. And then on Thursday night, you'll have Memphis versus Tulane. Those are your games this week. So no Wednesday games, no Monday games. Just Tuesday and Thursday. And then Friday on is all the rivalry week games, basically. But anyway, appreciate you guys for tuning in with me on this Sunday morning. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The Cash App is strolling on the bottom of the screen if you want to support financially, or you can hit the super chat on YouTube. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys. I am going to put in the community on the channel. Pretty much I need to update my computer. If you guys want to, donate or whatever, you're more than welcome to. But I need to upgrade this computer so when I do broadcast live games for you guys, it won't be like logging and stuff. It won't be, pausing and all that kind of stuff, lagging out, that kind of deal. I want it to be a more smooth deal. Obviously, my computer, the processor is pretty old now. This is like a 2018 at this point, so pretty much out of date. I need a new processor to deal with all of this extra stuff that I got going on. So I'm gonna put in my community the Cash App, which is strolling at the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna put if you guys want to use like I don't know Zelle and all that kind of stuff, I'll put it in the community for those of y'all that want to donate. If you do, if you don't, it's still all good. I'll just get a computer regardless. But if you want to pitch in, that's great. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and all that good stuff. Catch y'all during this week. Miami is 10-1. Miami is 10-1. 10-1, baby. Syracuse, y'all on the clock. Y'all already know what's up. I might drop a video this week, depending on how I'm feeling. Might break down Syracuse. I think Miami going to get the win, plain and simple. I think we're going into the ACC championship 11-1. 11-1. And, that's it. That's it. 11-1 going into the ACC championship. If we lose to Syracuse, Man, I don't want to talk to none of y'all. If we lose that game, I don't want to talk to nobody. Oh, I might cry in the car. I might cry in the car.